as I was seated here, I decided to repeat 10 times listening to the president's speech again. I am shocked. The Bible says, thou shalt not lie. When the president stands there and mentions a name, I think it was called Carissa, somebody from Coast, who has taken Hustler Fund 714,000. For his information and the public at large, an individual can only get between 500 shillings to 50,000. May I know how Mr. Carissa got 714,000 and reported it to his president? So it is a lie. The president has lied. I want to let you know, Mr. So, in case you don't know, I see you're jittered. You can only get set figure.
Honorable Fatuma, do you want to be informed by Honorable Osoro?
Very well informed, very sober, and as a Muslim, I say the truth. So don't inform me about lies. I'm here to say the truth.
What is your point of order, Chief Whip?
Honorable Speaker, I think Honorable Fatuma is misleading the country. It is indeed true that the individual can only access up to 50,000. But it's also true that there are groups, and that individual is not blocked from accessing funds from a group. So he may have access from the individual, and then got more money when he formed, or rather when he joined the rest in that group. So he got 714 as a group.
Member for Migori, is that what you meant?
Madam Speaker, may I inform the House that birds of same feathers flock together. I can repeat here, Hustler Fund is under a Special Funds Accounts Committee. I speak here to inform you once more that if it was a group, there is no group called, I'll give you the exact name that your president talked of. Harrison Carissa can never be a group. That's an individual. And if it was a group, then tell your president to come back here and say it was a group, because he lied. The truth is he lied. And the more like the guy has perfected his life that these days doesn't write them or read them anymore. He has them off his head here. Mr. Speaker, what I expected Mr. President to speak more about is the cost of living. Justify it or don't justify it, but please put some peace into our heart by telling us that this cost of living, there's something I can do about it. Instead, he told us there's nothing to be done, we have to live with it. There are people dying because of hunger. There are people dying because of hunger, and it is painful. When a president speaks there, because he eats 7 meals a day, he has no pain of what wananchi go through. But I can tell you the famous saying, vitu ni different kwa ground. I tell you, these honorable members who are speaking here cannot go home and say those things they've said here. They know vitu ni different kwa ground. It is a painful incident when you go back home and see how wananchi are suffering. Madam Speaker, when we were doing mandamanos, there was police brutality. We lost lives. Some might have been his votes that he lost. Some might have been votes of somebody else. But the bottom line is, we lost Kenyans. I expected an apology from the president because these are Kenyans. He is the head of the state. These are his people who died through any other circumstances. I expected apology. I expected him at least to tell us, stand for 1 minute as you do Christians, that you stand in honor of the dead for at least a second. I expected that for him. It didn't pain him because he didn't lose anyone, but God knows how he will tackle that. I expected the president to talk of unity. The country is divided. It is the truth. We pretend in the house here and joke, but if I meet Osoro in the field outside, I tell you, I will not shake hands with Osoro. The country is divided. It is a reality. That was just an example, and don't take it personal, Mr. Osoro. It was just an example. That as leaders in the house here, we joke and hug. But when we go outside, the country is so divided that I would not even wish my electorates to see me hugging another person. That is how divided we are. As a head of state, I expected him to give direct. Please protect me from Mr. Osoro. He's a heckler from Kenya Kwanza.
Honorable Fatuma, we will maintain decorum in the House. You refer to your colleagues as honorable member for South Mugirango or Honorable Osoro.
I refer to him as Honorable Osoro, but I also said he's heckling, which truly is doing. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, corruption is a disease that is really killing us. Do you know how he brought it up? That misuse of funds, corruption, and any other form is not acceptable and I will deal with it. What do you mean you will deal with it? When are you going to deal with it? You have been in state house for over 1 year. You said it in church one day that you've realized that you can make promises that can take longer, but you will not take us for granted. When you say that corruption is a disease, deal with it. The first day he came to this house, when we were just elected and he was giving his first speech, he promised here and said he's going to deal with corruption. He comes 1 year later and he tells you, I will deal with corruption. Is he trying to confirm or justify the statement he said in church to please the churchgoers that some promises do take long? Corruption, we cannot wait any longer because we are losing millions. So please, honorable members, as much as you want to celebrate your president, tell him the truth that vitu ni different kwa ground. He talked of mama mbogas. I talked to Mama Mboga in Kondele, who told me, when you go to Nairobi, do you see the president? I said from a distance. He said, if you ever get close to him, tell him never to refer to us again. We are not his people. He used us. He doesn't care about us. Madam Speaker, the country is bleeding. Let us not pretend. Be Kenya Kwanza, be Azimio, wananchi are pained. Let us tackle the struggle for food other than anything else before we talk about medicine or anything else. Thank you, Madam Speaker. With this statement of the President, I disown such a statement as a state of the nation. He didn't address the nation, but he undressed the nation. It is painful.
Honorable Wilberforce Oundo, member for Funyula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As required by the standing order and the Constitution and the standing order, the President came and made his speech, State of the Nation address.